We're starting off lesson 11.5, which is constituted with the distance formula. The distance formula uses the Pythagorean theorem. I need to find the distance between any 2 points, and usually it is measured in units. I put down the sign units, and I use the formula d, which is distance, is equal to radical x2 minus x1, both squared, plus y2 minus y1 squared. How do I use it? I'm going to see the examples that we have. The first example is I need to find the distance between -1 and 3, 5 and 2. The first thing I need to do, I need to label them. x1, y1, x2, y2. And then I rewrite the formula. D is equal to radical x2 minus x1 to the second power plus y2 minus y1 to the second power. I just take them and I substitute them, which is x2 is 5 minus 1 to the second power plus, what's y2? 2 minus 3 to the second power. All of this, I need to find the radical of it. 5 minus 1 is 5 plus 1, so it's 6 to the second power plus 2 minus 3 is a -1 to the second power and the radical to it. D is equal to 6 times 6 is 36 plus -1 times -1 is a 1. Radical D is equal to radical 37. Can I simplify radical 37? I can, because it's prime and I put my units. The second example is I need to find the distance between -2 and 1, 2 and 5. What do? I label them x1, y1, x2, y2. And I start substituting x2 minus -2 to the second power plus 5 minus 1 to the second power, which is 2 plus 2 is actually 4 to the second power. 5 minus 1 is 4 to the second power. 16 plus 16, radical of it, which is actually 32. Now, can I simplify 32? Yes, I can. I look for the biggest perfect square. 16, radical 2. 16 is a 4. So D is equal to 4 radical 2 units. Always remember, the answer, try to simplify it. If you can't, leave it. If you can, simplify it and rewrite your answer. The third example is the distance between 6 and -2, -4 and 7. The first thing I do is I label x1, y1, x2, y2, and then I substitute. x2 is -4 minus 6, all of this to the second power, plus y2, 7 minus -2 to the second power, and the radical to it. -4 minus 6 is -10 to the second power, plus 7 plus 2, which is a 9 to the second power. All of this, the radical of it, which is -10 to the second power is 100, plus 9 to the second power, 9 times 9 is 81. 100 plus 81 is 181. And 181, can you simplify it? No, you can't. So it's 181 radical units. The fourth example is different. That's the only equation that's different. They gave me the distance, which is 5, and they gave me 2 points. One of the points is B, and they said find B. It's exactly the same concept. What do? The first thing I do is I label x1, y1, x2, y2, and I substitute. What is D? 5 is equal to, and the radical form of it. Where's my x2? 7 minus 3 to the second power, plus y2 is B minus 5 to the second power. I keep it as it is. I start solving. 7 minus 3 is 4 to the second power, plus B minus 5 is actually b plus 5 to the second power, the radical of it. What do I do in this case? A plus b to the second power. What does it give me? a2 plus 2ab plus b to the second power, which is a is b squared plus 2 times b times 5 plus 5 squared. And I bring down the 4 to the second power, which is 16, and I put my plus sign. I bring down the 5 as it is equal to. 5 is equal to 16 plus, I start solving here, b squared plus 2 times 5, 10b plus 25, the radical of it. What do? I start adding my like terms. 25 plus 16, b squared plus 10b plus 25 plus 16 is 41, and the radical of it, 5 is equal to. Now, on one side I have a 5, on the other I have a radical. How do I get rid of a radical? If I square a radical, I get rid of it. And I cannot square one side of an equation. What do? I square both sides to get rid of the radical with the square. And I bring down b squared plus 10b plus 41. And here 5 to the second power is 25. Just like quadratic equations, I rewrote it here. What do? Always a quadratic equation is equal to 0. So I bring the 25 here, it becomes a negative 25. Here it becomes a 0. b to the second plus 10b plus 41 minus 25 is actually 16. And now, how do I solve? It's a trinomial. I need to look for the factors of 16. 2 times 8. Can I get a 10? Yes. Plus 2 plus 8. So my answer is b plus 2, b plus 8. All of this is equal to 0. And now, I bring them down. b plus 2 is equal to 0. b plus 8 is equal to 0. Take the 2 to the other side. b is equal to negative 2. Take the 8 to the other side. b is equal to negative 8. So b can be a negative 2 or it can be a negative 8. When you are watching the tutorial, this is the important part, because when you have the distance you need to find, so it's going to be factorization of trinomials, it's going to be quadratic equations. This is the only example. You have 2 questions only just like this. So I want you to rewatch the tutorial and see exactly how to solve them.